But then I asked Silas right before Obin hit the recording button, and Silas tells me he jogged for a very mediocre 15 minutes and managed just a kilometer, and he stopped.
Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Taught Novice with myself, Dati Obeying, Max Odankwa, and Silas Bempon. Silas the Oracle Bempon, our one and only deity on this podcast. Anyway,
That's right.
so how we doing?
Max, how are you doing?
Wow, that's a very nice hospital bed.
I
Hospital
know,
room.
right?
Okay, yeah. Back to topic.
That's a suite.
Yes.
like-
so those who are listening to us, I just sent them a tweet to the Slack channel about the hospital suite Donald Trump is said to be staying in Walter Reed. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to retweet it so that anyone who follows me on Twitter at Yokodat can also see it.
Yeah.
So you just see it in my retweet.
Nice way to plug in your Twitter right there.
Shameless plug, by the way.
Yeah, so I just retweeted it and you'd see it. Charlie, the hospital there, stop TL. My bed,
This is almost like a 7-star hotel.
bro.
Tell you.
I see the
Tell you.
antique furniture too. So that it's for rich. It's for the rich. See the bed.
Yeah.
Wait, and this is a hospital.
Yes, bro. A hospital. Anyway. So Maxwell, how you doing? Recently you've been on some good escapades. And I want to know how
All is well.
how your project is faring. It may be too premature to talk about the project, but then how is it going?
It's going well. Thank you for your concern. Although I know you don't mean well. I know you don't mean well, but thank you for your concern. So what's in the news today?
We are all praying the project reaps some profit at least, or you net out. At least if it doesn't reap profit, we'll net out the investment made. The investment that's even affecting this podcast. We
Indeed,
wish.
It's
We wish.
a zero budget podcast.
Well,
No
our
way,
time.
no.
No, you see, Silas, he has little respect for our time. Silas, you see,
Now, I want to talk about
he has little to no respect for our time.
because for someone who gives us postponed time for us to like record, and you were 3 minutes late. It's nice of you to actually make that comment. Very nice.
Wow. I mean, we pray the investment at least, even if it doesn't profit, it nets out. But anyway,
But Charlie, do you? I'm not
do
one
you,
to
man?
judge.
Do you?
Just say.
I mean, God.
Very well.
So yeah, it's all good. Anyway, but Silas, how are you doing?
Me, I'm well. Yeah, I'm well. Because I'm
Any
like
projects?
headstrong.
So Silas, guys. So Silas goes for a jog, and he's starting to gets sore muscles, and then you wonder, sore muscles jog. He probably must have jogged for maybe 3 kilometers or like an
I'm also
hour.
trying to push the
But then-
attention from himself.
But-
Just
Oh yeah, but I want you to finish.
But then I asked Silas right before Obin hit the recording button, and Silas tells me he jogged for a very mediocre 15 minutes and managed just a kilometer, and he stopped. When you're hard guy,
Yeah, I mean, like you can make that argument, but at the end, it's my body and how long I'm able to
I think
consistently
you have a
jog.
very low threshold for enduring pain, so you need to work on that. Next time, double the whole thing.
Yeah, but I start experiencing the pain.
Your project's also about to do, so you need to work on it and stop.
Oh, but this. Hey, Obey, you so. I'm not going to talk again. Okay, so today we have a lot lined up from Ghana, the world over. What are we talking about first? Silas, what are we talking about first today?
Maxwell, no, Silas, don't let him give you his job. Let him do his job.
No. Okay, so I should just rope Silas in that apparently
Today's not
brain doesn't like that. Okay.
Next
So today we are looking at stories. I mean, I'm not gonna mind them, I will get them. We're looking at stories from Ghana and the world over. Starting with where's the Huawei story? Some news from Huawei. Hold on, I don't think I opened it yet. President Huawei and the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Communications, are making some very big moves. And you'd be surprised the fortunes of Huawei have gone, south recently. They wouldn't be cutting new deals, but they should tell you that geopolitically, Africa has the sit on the fence when it comes to this whole technological war. That's how come Huawei is still signing deals here. Or perhaps we don't even have a choice. What's the case?
I think we don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice.
We don't build, should I say, technological infrastructure locally, and Huawei does that. I mean, it's evident in their partnership with NTN, with TurboNet, them like literally owning. They were around like 20% of the world market, smartphone market share, and like most of their consumer base is in Africa. So I feel like that speaks to the value we are getting from them due to like should I say incompetence or the lack of tools or resources to develop like tech like of that sort. So we're basically hooked on it.
Well, but don't you think we have a choice? Because Ericsson also equally has some infrastructure in this area.
Wait, when you say choice, are you positioning the choice question to mean that can we also build it ourselves or look for a different provider?
I don't know. Okay, I'm looking at it from the perspective of getting the infrastructure, whether we produce it ourselves or whether we purchase. But knowing the fact that at this point we're not in the position to make our own infrastructure or to manufacture our own infrastructure. So that means we'll have to purchase from an existing corporation. So having that in mind, I believe there's still a matter of choice when it comes to bidding for who we or for which company's infrastructure we employ on our service lines.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so just so we jump into the story, that way the listeners can know what we are about to talk about or what we are going to talk about. This article comes from the Ghana Business News and it was published 2 days ago from today. And this podcast recording is on the 3rd of October, just to give you perspective.
Why are you mentioning the date?
Well, that way they follow the timelines. Assuming Obeng does his job and uploads it on time, this won't be soon.
Which I will do, but it will be uploaded on. It will upload like 5 to 7 days. Okay, anyway.
You know that actually you're low-key selling yourself out because you've already made comments about your timing and your business. So if
Ghana government and Huawei to construct more than 2,000 rural star sites. So yes, this story is from the Ghana Business News, and let me just read the first couple of lines, then we just jump right into it. Communication and the Ghana Investment for Electronic Communication (GIFEC) have signed a financing agreement for rural network projects. Per the agreement with the Export-Import Bank, that's Exim Bank China, Huawei will deploy more than 2,000 rural star sites for Ghana to provide voice and data services for over 3.4 million people in underserved and unserved communities. This would extend the national mobile communication coverage from 83% to 95%.
Hey, wait, current
So
mobile
basically,
coverage in Ghana is 83%.
yeah,
Wow.
mobile
I don't know.
coverage, not
I don't exactly trust the figure though.
I think this is coming straight from SLO, so you don't have a choice but to trust it.
I thought
A statement issued by
take it with a pinch of salt.
really SLO, when she's making a point, it looks like she's leaving no room for deliberation or scrutiny. Anyway, a statement issued in Accra by Huawei said the move would greatly accelerate local economic development while improving people's livelihood. The project is to be completed by September 2021. What the hell is a site?
I'm guessing, as in based from where I read, probably like a base station. So like, should I
Base
say the
station.
masts that like propagate radio waves for the telcos? I probably think that's what's meant by
Or maybe
star.
fact check that for us. Star site. What's a star site? But I think this comes at the right time. Ignoring the politics and the diplomacy, it comes at the right time because when Corona came, we saw the technological divide and its ramifications were deeper than we pictured before Corona, especially with e-learning.
Sorry, Maxwell, a star site.
Yeah.
As in STAR.
Yeah. Telecommunications. You could add telecommunications to.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
It's really showing things concerning the star topology. So maybe it's a site that has a concentration of star topologies, or it's like the central connection in a bigger wide area network that has a couple of LAN star topologies here.
So basically, in the same family of a base station, like how Silas said.
Yes, but then a specific type of base station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, like I said, Ghana saw, or in fact, the country in most of Africa saw that with the coronavirus and social distancing and society coming to being, there were the economic divide on so many levels became so apparent. For example, from e-learning options to even banking or general communication. If you are not, if you are underserved with technology, you were really left out. You felt the economic, where was the word? Yeah, the economic fallout of the pandemic even more compared to those who were basically plugged into technology. So classic example, e-learning. We saw that there were calls for students to look for options. And we saw private schools not having classes grind to a halt, but public schools and rural schools had school journal being abated, so to speak. And there were cases of female pregnancy, teenage pregnancy, being rampant in
technically speaking, so, you are correct. And 2020.
Don't be woke. We don't need that kind of energy right now.
I'll just say, I don't like, it's not exactly an error. I'll just say, but don't mind me.
So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good
bridging the technological divide.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely good because in the rural areas in Ghana, we know these areas basically don't have like access to tech and more or less internet connectivity, which basically runs the world we know today. And yeah, basically sort of as a result of the economic gap, and then as should I say economic divide between urban and rural areas. There's a huge gap in terms of technological development in those areas. And people in those areas tend to study ICT with what do you call it? Stones. I think I remember seeing a video where they use stones to like mimic a mouse, and then they actually draw a computer and then the software and all that for them to like understand.
But Salah, this looks like it has a special focus on cell reception, not internet coverage.
Oh yeah, I mean, like basically all that would enable them to do whatever they want because these things don't go there because they don't have access to internet. And I mean, like some basic things like gadgets, like computers, laptops, and all that. So I mean, I feel like it's all part of it. That's why I was just
Quoting
highlighting
from the
that.
article, this is a statement by, let me check. Yeah. The administrator of GIFEC, Mr. Abraham Kofasanti, and he says partnering with Huawei on this project, therefore, will ensure that all persons in Ghana are part of government's digitization agenda and improve the socio-economic well-being of people living in rural Ghana. He said these beneficiaries will be able to communicate effectively with family, friends, and transact business with people all over the world. So yes, currently
how much is this deal costing you?
They are a bit quiet on figures. In fact, they are very quiet on figures. Yeah. Yeah. Currently, Rostar has been commercially used in more than the world, serving a population over 40 million. It looks like it's proprietary technology from Huawei.
I think so.
It should be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like other mobile and network operators should have easily, like, if you want to go into a rural community, you should easily go and set up your equipment and then basically dominate. But I feel like the government has an agenda in, like, as you rightly mentioned, the digital agenda where they want to digitize, basically make sure everyone's part of the digital economy of the country. That I think that's why they're also doing this as well.
But another part that concerns me is how they basically whipped this deal together. And you could see that it's tied into a lot of diplomacy and a lot of politics to begin with. So basically, let me just read this one more time before I start. Okay, yeah. Per agreement.
Right.
I just want to clarify something. Okay, yeah. Per agreement, the Export-Import Bank of China and Huawei deploy 2,000 rural star sites. So this looks like a deal that was brokered by those at the top hierarchy of government, you understand? Although it's towards a good end. Now let's take us back to the data sovereignty conversation we had.
That was actually on my mind.
Yeah, it's quite important because this is relevant or basic or backbone infrastructure that you are rolling out to underserved areas, and next basically putting people on a platform. I think the best bet would have been to at least own the technology, but this looks like you're bringing technology from elsewhere, and you only focus on just the digitization aspect. That's against how sovereign or how secure data is. Does that mean we don't really understand the worth of data? Because the consequences might be grave if there's a case of data scraping or data theft or violations. You understand? Do you even think our scrutiny goes that deep? China could be stealing data from us and we wouldn't know. Likewise, any tech giant, not just China.
Yeah, like once you interact with Google or any or basically any sort of tech, your data is basically being collected because you even digital footprints wherever you go, whether it's on the internet or on your mobile phone. So one way or the other, some tech company somewhere is basically siphoning data. But for Huawei to actually come up with this deal with the Ghanaian government, with geopolitical issues between US and China, like in the heat of that, I feel like them knowing that they won't be able to capture the American market, they will probably want to expand the markets they currently have in Ghana, just like offset.
But then,
I'm not just saying Ghana, sorry, like Africa just like offset the losses they will make from the American market.
Yeah, but then don't you think if America not necessarily intervenes, but if America uses their leverage over Africa to stop Huawei's expansion in Africa, do you think it will work?
I mean, if
Basically,
they would do that, they should come up with an option as to like
I'm
what
certain
should
they
we use
will.
instead of that.
I'm certain they will push their companies, and they push their companies in and push, what's the name, and push Huawei or Chinese companies out.
yeah. The I agree with what was being said, but just let me just read. But even with that, if you're going to exert a certain kind of geopolitical push to have your way, so many conditions have to be satisfied. If you realized superpowers like Russia don't have much of a say in Africa because, in terms of trade, which is basically the language of diplomacy, they don't have much going on here. Before you dictate to me, you have to be trading with me and giving me some form of maybe donor cash, whatever. Countries like Russia don't have that much of a hold on African countries because they aren't our major trading partners. US at some point was, but they've lost massive ground to China. You could pull up I saw an image
I feel like
where
China is making cheaper deals. So
making
that's
cheaper deals and deals that are subject to less bureaucratic hurdles and scrutiny. If you realize, getting a loan from China is easier than getting it from world donor bodies or even the USA. One of the major financing uh, facilities the US has given to Ghana, for example, is even Millennium Development, the money, MIDA, is directly
yeah.
from US. And it has so many strings attached. There are some points it didn't meet conditions. They threaten to withdraw the cash. China gives you constant money. That put a stop into it. And of course, they said it's predatory lending, but Africans apparently don't see it and they just buy into it. You understand? Anyway, but
They give
like
you
I
money
said,
you can't pay back. You can't
yeah,
pay back.
and like I said, the technology is proprietary, and this shows. A part of the article states that the indigenous rural star solution transforms microwave or satellite in traditional rural network solution into wireless relay, towers into simple poles, and diesel generators into clean and green solar energy. So it looks like they figured out something that is very workable in places that are roots. So yeah.
Yeah, but does this also play in part to the government's? I mean, the current situation have an MTN about downsizing their influence on the market as a significant market power. So, like in terms of like the 2,000 raw star sites, you'll probably share them equally amongst the telcos.
Yeah. I'm assuming they would find a way to give everyone a chance to hop onto those platforms.
But given that Huawei already has like a very strong partnership with MTN, which is like
MTN.
evidence in their tableness. Wouldn't they rather expand, sort of hand in hand, like expand MTN's influence on the
But
mobile and data market?
Vodafone too has some collaboration with Huawei.
But not on the level of MTN in terms of star sites, because with
Okay.
because they have the tablenet is proprietary to MTN, so you basically see the Huawei and MTN logo slapped on it. But I don't know if Vodafone has a similar product.
That I can't tell.
Yeah. But I think on any day, Huawei has basic business in mind. So it's all about who
I mean, first
demands
is
what, who
first.
places for orders. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's what's up. And while this concerns me, at the same time, it excites me. But also, those who are in the space or who play around and have genuine concerns, you might see a headline like this, or yes, and you might think it means good news for Ghana. But like I said, digitization must accompany stringent cybersecurity measures. We must pay close attention to those things because, I mean, if technology like this is coming straight from China and probably they might train some people to service it, but when it comes to the infrastructure, what goes into it, what data is being taken, what's not. I doubt Huawei will be that open about it, and that could be a threat later on. But yeah. Anyway.
But I think right now the government is more focused on the benefits that comes with digitizing rural communities. So, and they probably feel like so that we should like weigh it. The benefits probably outweigh the damage that will be done in their eyes. Probably.
But Silas, don't you think it's even bad if you migrate people who basically are unsuspecting and illiterate, digitally illiterate, to a platform in hope of empowering or improving their livelihood without giving them the ability to protect themselves? Because cyberspace doesn't play nice. You understand?
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, in some cases, you might be doing them a disservice if you don't give them the tools to protect themselves from the inherent dangers. Case in point, mobile money. Old women constantly losing or being swindled by fraudsters. You've empowered them to send money, but scammers are able to get direct access to money that otherwise would have probably been wrapped up in their cloth. You understand? You see, yeah. So it's a fine balance.
Yeah, I mean, like you definitely make a fair argument.
Yeah,
but I feel like your honors also lies on the government to probably have like cybersecurity, massive cybersecurity education for each and every individual in the country, so that we are aware of.
But do you think that's feasible? Because it doesn't seem feasible to me. Because the US itself doesn't have that level of, or no, not necessarily the US, well established and progressive countries
nations.
Have not even been nations, have not even been able to implement that. How about Ghana?
Oh yeah, I mean, like we want to exactly perfect our education system, but then the mere fact that they are just trying to like propagate their message will actually like echo in some ears and then make some people aware. At least if like give or take like what's our population right now, like 30-something million, and if you have half the population like being like aware of the threats of cybersecurity, that alone is something like something that's not a way in my eyes. I mean, like you can't exactly achieve 100%, but at least your efforts alone counts for me.
But with this conversation, when you have others, they usually say that the workable option is to tie things up at the end of the telcos, because that's where you can achieve the most results. They should make their system less permeable. You understand? So the telco, and probably they should bring insurance coverage for fraud prevalence, because as fraud is going up, you should expect that. I mean, some people, through no fault of their own, would fall prey to fraudsters. You understand? Because maybe MTN intensified education enough. So why don't they work on their platform to make it less, risk averse or whatever?
Yeah. I feel like they probably, this is just an assumption, dude. The reason why they are not exactly able to do that right now is the way like probably like their mobile money infrastructure has been.
How is it different from the rest? Is it that weak?
I mean, Obi already stated an example. An example is the distribution of merchants. Like Vodafone, like, it's not very easy to like become a Vodafone merchant as compared to MTN.
Is that a strength? Is that a strength or a weakness? Because ubiquity, ubiquity is the plus.
I feel like it's both. Because the strength in it is that you're able to get much more merchants around to like disburse money to like very remote areas. Like,
and the weakness?
Like a weakness is the security
and privacy.
Yeah, security and privacy.
No, but privacy. Wait, security. When you say security, I'm here thinking that since everything is basically electric, if the system is secure, and that maybe the USSD codes are in such a way that they cross-check and cross-check.
In this case, what do you define as a system? What do you define as a system?
I was thinking maybe there will be like a two-step verification of some sort,
No, but then the
like the way my
MTN,
phone asks
yes,
for
but the MTN
extra details that you
mobile
just
money
can't.
system goes beyond goes beyond the tradition, goes beyond the technological system. It's a whole system of the telco, their vendors, and you, the person. I know the word doesn't really come into my mind, but then I hope you get what I'm saying. It's like the system of parties involved in the whole transaction isn't just about the technology, which is the, let's say they are saying two FAs, or if their SSIDs are secured or not. But then the fact that a third party can come into the mess and retrieve information from one party and use it against the other shows that the system isn't secured. I know if I'm making sense. The word isn't really coming, but then that's I'm looking at the system at a broader or a higher level as compared to the traditional version, the traditional definition of a system.
Yeah.
So
I agree with Albin's point. I feel like the vulnerability regards to any technological system is the human being. So if any hack will happen, an example is Twitter. The Twitter hack happened because someone copy and pasted an admin password within Slack, and then apparently the hacker was able to like get that, and then that resulted in the Bitcoin cheat and all that. But something like mobile money, I go to a merchant in my area. The merchant writes my number. Like you make a fair point that MTN should make sure that the vendor is security or data conscious, in the sense that he's not supposed to share my number with other people. But in a sense, the vendor himself could probably go and sell the numbers he had made transaction with on that day to another person, and then that person would basically use that to spread fraud calls and then probably make money. So if we're able to actually solve that point, then, but then from within MTN's confines of the technology itself, I feel like it's secure because there hasn't been any fraudulent transactions that I know of that have passed directly through MTN. Because an example is when when I get those mobile money text messages, like to mention of Ben, it's pretty obvious that it's not from MTN, right? So it's basically a human being be able to understand that this is not from MTN, that is from MTN. That will sort of solve it.
So you think MTN has done what it's humanly, in quotes,
I definitely feel like they can do more, but I feel like tech can go as far as it can, but then the threat to any technological system is a human being. So if they're able to change their metrics.
The reason why MTN mobile money is a favorite fintech space is because of its simplicity, I guess, isn't it? Its ease of use.
Their level of penetration too.
Yes. But that's not very relevant to the point I'm going to make.
Okay.
So I'm asking you guys, it is the ease with which, so a simple person can just be, how should I put, you can run them through how to use it, and they basically get the drift quite early. But Tigo is a bit complicated, relatively, not by much, but
you actually use Tigo Cash.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've tried it before. It's a bit complicated, you understand? So So I feel that maybe that's unique selling point of mobile money is turning out to be their biggest flaw. The fact that it's so easy to go about it. You just get a prompt on your phone that you could enter your password and bam, your money is gone. So many things. You understand?
Yeah. But that actually, that I agree with that. You make a very valid point, and that actually adds to the user experience, and that speaks to how huge the mobile money market for MTN.
So how can MTN fix this? How can MTN fix this?
I won't say I'm a subject matter expert on cybersecurity to tell them how to fix it, but I feel like solving the human component part would have a huge role in fixing it. Because regardless of how secure a password is for a technology system, if
So our awareness campaign, or being said, that's not 100% achievable. That's true.
Yeah, that's 100% achievable. So, but then if you're not able to solve that, then we'll still have fraudulent activities happening.
So how about insurance?
I mean, like, yeah, we should definitely have that, but I don't know how. I mean,
But,
the insurance,
there's no insurance on whose path? Are the telcos
Insurance to
insuring their
cover,
users,
yeah.
or the telcos are applying for insurance?
The telcos are insuring their users.
Do you think they want to take up that liability?
that's a lot of money to pay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Wow.
Because imagine a
dicey
consumer base is, imagine like in a day you have over
Millions.
1 million transactions, and
Exactly.
you have a volume of like probably like 200 million Ghana cedis. Then you're paying insurance on top of your, basically the transactions are coming through, and the volume of, or the volume of your consumer base as well. So that'll be a lot of cost to incur on
You see,
NSS side.
this is a nice juncture for us to talk about Bitcoin and how come it might be problematic in Africa because of the decentralized, and it segues nicely into the topic we just talked about, the fact that insurance with fintech, I mean, with its wide liability comes a certain form of liability that people must be ready to take. For example, Bitcoin transactions are not reversible. I think we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with Bitcoin transactions and the almost inalienable element of human error, coupled with digital illiteracy, don't you think that those making arguments that Bitcoin should be what we should be focused on are not factoring things in? Because
Focus in
Bitcoin is not
Africa.
simple to use. Yeah, in Africa. I'm talking about Africa.
Okay. I
You
mean,
understand?
we are not exactly literate. I feel like when we solve the literacy problem, then we can tackle topics of that matter.
So Africa is not ready for Bitcoin.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Obing.
Well, as a continent, we aren't ready for anything beyond advancements that was created
This
5
is a
years
cynical
ago.
take.
And let me explain what I'm saying.
But it's true though. I mean,
The reason is that we are far behind. We shouldn't really be looking at. We shouldn't be looking at areas the West themselves haven't really figured out.
the fundamentals are weak.
That's it. The fundamentals are weak. So we should concentrate on building our banking system, making them more robust, getting the people who are unbanked, generally cleaning the mess before we even think about moving forward. Because you realize that if we try moving too much ahead, there'll be so many loopholes to the extent that even right now, everywhere outside, in most of the Western countries now, having a cashless system is becoming the new norm. And moving forward after COVID was a good practice ground that they've been able to sort of perfect the entire system. So it's going to be more and more used. But then in Ghana, for me like this, besides purchasing things at ShopRite and Game, there's nowhere I pay with a card that I don't have problems with. Even to the extent that Melcom, every time you go to Melcom, they keep saying that there's a problem with their network. But you can't have a problem with your network for like 2 months.
Sorry to cut you, but I'm someone who doesn't work around with cars, so I always experience that problem. From Uber to frequently when I bought my keyboard at Game, I had to spend like 30 minutes because the system was down.
It doesn't make sense. Maybe Uber and Bolt, I pay cashless. That one there, I don't even negotiate for it. I just say I'm paying with card. That's when I sit down. I don't care. But then somewhere like Melcom,
you've never been dropped before.
You drop me for.
He doesn't tell them when they pick him.
I don't tell you when. I don't tell you when. No, I don't tell you when you pick me. Also, you can't look at my face and tell me that rubbish.
Oh, but some drivers actually ask. Some drivers actually ask, and especially I mean, pre-COVID, when I used to like go to work, I think there's been like 3 or 5 scenarios where like the driver asked, and obviously I wasn't alone with all my boys. So we all didn't have cash on us, so we're expecting to pay with like either card or mobile money. And the driver said it doesn't take that, so we should get out.
The reason that they are trying to beat the system, well, okay, maybe commercial drivers are not like that, because sometimes you tell the person that you're paying with card, and he look at your face and I'll just jam my eye and sit down. Maybe our car drivers are the ones who are always trying to cheat the system, because the card it passes through the system before it gets to them.
Yeah, it takes a while before it hits the
account. There was a case where like drivers actually complained that Uber doesn't pay them their due when customers pay through cards. So that's probably an Uber problem.
Oh. All right. Next on the news item, still the same Ghana Business News article published on the 2nd of October. Investment in technology has paid off, and this is coming from DVLA, that's Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority. So here I read, Mr. Prince Opoku Edu said the Deputy Chief Executive or the CEO of Operations of DVLA says government's investment in cutting-edge technology has improved the authority's service delivery. We can't argue with that, can we? Through the use of technology, the Deputy CEO said the authority has digitized over 2 million manual documents from 1995 to 2017 and has worked assiduously to complete the rest to deliver better services to the public. So speaking on the second, okay, enough of that. He said over the years, aside efficiency and poor customer service, the authority had been dealing with the phenomenon of Goro boys, which had stained its corporate image.
I actually heard that in Kumasi.
Goro boys are everywhere. Passport office, Registrar General's Department, birth and death, NHIS.
My first time hearing that was at DVLA, Kumasi DVLA.
Goro boys.
They have access, and they let you pay for the access. And the reason why Goro boys thrive is because the system is broken. Yep. You understand? And well, apparently, I hear that they've encountered serious trouble with the digital passports. Business is not looking very good for them. But yeah, I guess that's one of the perks of being digitized. So yeah, DVLA
too, they're having some issues with them.
So DVLA is saying, but you know that the Guru boys, some of them were charging up to 1,500 for a fast-tracked license. That's how much they were making. Meanwhile, a standard one is almost half price. So this is good news, isn't it?
Yeah.
One-fifth that price actually.
Oh, it's less.
Yeah, I mean it's way less than that.
How much is a driver's license?
Okay, I paid my last year was around was it 450 or 500.
When did it get to you? 3 months?
Oh, I had a temporary license here, which I used for 3 months, and then I got a permanent one after.
Yeah. Well, DVLA is saying 4 more for Nana, basically, isn't it?
Well,
hey, 4 more for Baumia. He's the one in charge of the digitization. So
but when did this thing start, though? 2017.
2017, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they already put in the work for that. So if they are definitely pushing the agenda for more on top of this, that's why the fact there's an election here, I think they allowed the chance.
In as much as Silas, in as much as we see that most of government's efforts towards the digitization are haphazard, I think they deserve full marks for the general efforts. What do you think? From post GPS to automated passports and birth set systems, they migrating NHIS registration to SMS. I mean, it's across board, and it's injustice and paperless ports, just to mention a few. I mean, I think it's groundbreaking.
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's why like I basically made a comment around the fundamentals are weak because it's 2020. Whilst people are thinking about 5G and hologramic
Yeah.
technology and all that, we are not thinking about digitizing.
But I think we should
because
thank
we're
God
not
for
documenting
weak
them.
fundamentals. Previously, we had no fundamentals.
Hey.
If you are lining up,
This agenda, yeah.
What you say previous? What timeline
I'm
are you
talking about
referring to?
before the digitization agenda began. Some things were still NHIS. You had to queue. Can you imagine? Now you could just do it with your mobile money, and it's just, these things have made life easier.
I remember SS. I think our school had something like that. So at around 6 a.m. we were all that's in Cape Coast. We all had to go to the Kotokraba something station or somewhere, and you had to go and
Salas,
register.
you're a butcher boy, aren't you?
Yes.
I see.
It's okay.
Apparently, you guys had a funeral recently, did you?
Yeah.
In mourning for a while.
I mean, you're also a Pesco boy, right?
Yeah, I'm a
I mean, we're
Pesco
both
boy.
morning actually. Yeah. But like at least unlike us, your guys like really fought hard. So
no one asked me which
I must
conference.
commend them on that effort.
Yes. At this point,
no one
is interested in the school you went to. Go away.
I went to Presec. Yeah. We are the only ones still.
You are noisemakers.
Are we?
You know the funny thing?
Are we one at all?
Like in Berlin, I see them to be like Madrid. It's not like when Madrid fans, even like in their downtimes, when you try to shade them, they'll bring 13 Champions League trophies and winning it back to back.
They're always asking in past glories.
Yeah, so I mean,
but
they definitely
do you have past your school? Do you have past glories? Keep quiet. Your school doesn't have past glories. Yeah.
Oh, Pesco has 3 past quiz trophies. They're not that.
Do you have a back-to-back?
I mean, back-to-back is only for 6.
Yeah, but how many trophies do you have?
Oh, you have 2.
Oh, you're more for.
It's more.
I think I have 6, or? How many do you have?
We have 4. 5.
So 5. Okay, this would be a 6th one if you do it. So the deputy CEO said the authority now prints driver's license within 30 minutes, 2 weeks, or at most a month, as required by clients through effective use of technological advancements.
So, I think I can testify to that.
So yeah, things are looking up technologically. I mean, these procedural stuff for documents should not be such a pain in the neck like they used to be. Because first, getting a passport was like an act of God before, but now it looks better. You understand? So yeah. So that's what's in the news. DVLA
protocol to get it.
Yeah. It's all about, do you know someone who works there? Do you know someone who works there? All that. Although the passport fees have gone up, so that's the catch.
Wait, I haven't gotten my Ghana card yet. So.
Same here.
You registered?
Yeah, I registered, and after I actually registered on the last day, so now it's left for going.
I thought they will print it like on the spot, or?
No, they said the last day, guys, they didn't. So they said I should go for it from Oforikum in March, and that was the last time I heard about it. One day I'll search for it.
Wait, Max, the same for you.
I did mine at Labadi, and they said I should come for it. Then Corona happened, so yeah, there's that.
But now, I think the government has signed an MOU or something around that with some government institutions to accept it as part of their identification.
They said it's basically active now. Even if you can use it for banking transactions ahead.
Yeah. And it makes sense because it
didn't
make sense.
Let me just look for that one now.
But if NDC comes in anytime now, they'll make it irrelevant. That's a problem.
Oh, Charlie, all that money, all that
Because
data gone
NDC
to
started something initially, and these people decided
so
to. It's
but I mean, it would be very unintelligent of them to actually do that.
discontinue the use.
But was it
given the
intelligent of this government to stop the first one and start a new one?
Oh, I mean, I'm not actually very aware of the details of that. I mean, I'm aware of this current one, so I'm speaking to it.
There was a Ghana card.
I should remember that. That's why I said I can speak to
Hey, Mama was saying Ghanaians have short-term memory.
that, to be honest, I don't remember.
Anyway.
Okay, so
I had to register for these things because registering for plenty cards and all these things doesn't like appeal to me at all. I had to go to register.
somebody like Obin Sef, he go spoil in ballots, or he no go vote. Well, look at
Why?
that.
I don't
Because it's
know
like a drop in the ocean. It's pointless.
Okay, I mean, it's his voter's choice to everyone decides to do his voter's choice, I guess.
Please don't listen to
Ghana
Max
card.
lying.
I'm not lying.
Liar, fan.
Did I not? You can now use Ghana card to transact business. This article is from Ghana Web. Although this was not part of the stuff we were built to discuss, I just want to bring it in.
Sure.
The Ghana card can be used to access services and make business transactions anywhere in Ghana. I think you realize that it has was it a chip? There's something. Is it a chip or
it's a chip,
or whatever? Yeah. Chief Executive of the NIA, Professor Ken Atafua, disclosed disclosed this on Accra-based Joy FM on Thursday. He revealed, however, that NIA is still in talks with some key entities to come on board and fully accept the new card. So yeah, basically things are a go for Ghana card. Apparently, they say, and they managed to register 15 million people in the exercise that began during the Corona period. So Bamia at some point even said that the Ghana card can be used for banking purposes. So when you hold it, you automatically have bank accounts, and its government attempts to also reach out to the unbanked aspects of the population. So I think that is also worthy of noting as well. So Ghana card in full mode, it's working.
Yeah, I just hope that with this whole digital agenda, they would basically have a database of Ghanaians such that we don't have to register every 4 years or every 2 years or every 3 years. Or when they feel like changing things, then they just do it.
Will they even see the problems that arose from the whole voter registration exercise after all the assurances the EC gave? And
apparently the data quality was poor.
Exactly. Yeah. So what was the point of changing the old one then? If you still had the same issues.
This Ghana card, they've made a lot of promises. Ghana card will be integrated with NHIS to boost universal health. Ghana card and like we rightly predicted, the minority is out to get a Ghana card. 23rd September is a useless venture. They have nothing to show. Statement being made by Hassan Ayariga. The founder of APC, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, has described NIA's exercise of registering Ghana onto a database as a useless venture which has nothing to show. He says he will have it reviewed and made more useful than it is now. The NPP government and its myopic policies ventured into a fruitless exercise and thus has caused financial loss to the state. He says the identification card has been provided for every Ghanaian, will be useless and cannot be. Apparently, this guy is just ranting for no reason. Hold on.
I mean, I don't agree with, should I say, almost everything he's saying over there.
hold on. Okay. Yeah, apparently he feels that yeah, he explained further that the national identification system has to be integrated into one system that will have the data of every Ghanaian and even babies who will be born at hospitals. Other than that, he says the card provided is useless because if you are attaching citizenship to a card, it's important for you to make sure that it is widespread and people don't queue to get it. So he makes a valid point, but it looks like it's a bit bankrupt on it's all fire and no.
Yeah, I feel like he is rather pointing out to how like a perfect Ghana card system would look like.
Yeah.
But I feel like for starters, what they are doing works. And for the meantime, that's why it should be they should allow iterations to be acted on so that it doesn't just become a one-time thing or something that is improved in. Yeah.
Hey, this CEO of NIA, he's been talking about. Listen, Professor Atafua. How do you say? Atafua. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you know him? You're so passionate about correct.
No, I've been hearing him rant on radio a lot.
Okay. So he said he has described the Ghana card as a must-have card. Or being you here, noting that one would be excluding himself socially, economically, and politically without the card. So yeah. Apparently big stuff coming with NIA.
I feel like making cheese next week.
You feel like making what?
Cheese. It just hits me.
The Ghana card would serve as a valid passport within the West African sub-region. It's called an ECOWAS card, I think. Silas, I think you have one, no? Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh, really? Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't really like going for these registrations because they have a short life cycle.
Silas, are you a germaphobe? Like, it looks like you generally don't like interactions with people because you feel that it's a waste of time. And is it like a cleanliness thing? Like, you don't like people like queuing up, being in congested areas? Is that a thing or what? Are you like a germaphobe or what? What's your reason? Because with this corona and all, you made a statement on a couple of episodes ago that you are staying put in your house, you are not moving an inch because you are scared.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't call myself a germaphobe, but it's. Should I say?
He doesn't like human beings. That's the right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to you guys. If I didn't like you, if I didn't like human beings, like I wouldn't be talking to you guys.
Oh please.
On a screen.
I'm not antisocial. I'm introverted.
On a screen, you're talking to.
I'm talking to you on a screen.
Regular human contact.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm that type of person who don't check up on me. I probably wouldn't check up on you. Or I don't know. It's very bad. But there are times like I try to like reach out to people just to see how they're doing. But I don't frequently do it.
Okay. You address your midlife crisis later. Anyway,
it's not a midlife crisis.
NSS introduces drone technology on its farms. This article was published last year, City Newsroom. Did I say last year? Sorry. Yesterday, actually, on City Newsroom. So, yeah. National Service, NSS.
I never knew NSS had farms.
They do.
They actually do. They do.
I'm actually ignorant of it. Like, this is my first time hearing it. I mean, the description, NSS farms.
Yeah, they have ones that are under their auspices. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the National Service Scheme has supplied personnel who find themselves in the agri sector of the economy with drones to enable them monitor and increase outputs. The drone tech is expected to be used for the application of fertilizers, pest control mechanism, monitor crop health, rate, sowing, general surveillance, and many others. The executive director, Mustafa Yusuf, on Thursday, 1st October, to the dry farms of the scheme to have first-hand information on the newly introduced drones. So yeah, a lot is happening. National Service Scheme has gotten in on the act, bolstering output with respect to their farms with technology.
Wait, is this
I
all
mean, I
part of
think
the
we all saw this coming.
agenda?
Apparently, not necessarily. It would fall more under planting for food and jobs, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's basically it. So more of the industry.
Wait, I didn't hear what Maxwell said.
I said it's more related to the industrialization, like one district, one factory, planting for food and jobs.
Oh, okay.
That agenda than digitization. So yeah. So that's what's happening.
But like in terms of should I say priorities, was drone tech a priority as compared to other things like getting more warehouses? Basically, if we were to look at the infrastructure, do you think them adding drone tech to it is actually like a priority as compared to like I don't know, probably like increasing the performance of irrigation systems they have there or something? I don't know, because I feel like it's not exactly a priority. Probably I'm not probably like properly informed about what grades
I understand.
them.
Well, okay. The drone technology is increasingly becoming a mainstay in agriculture in the sub-region. I've seen, in fact, I think if there's a company, it's called Sky something, Aero Sky or so.
Aeroshatter.
Actually, Aeroshatter. No.
Hey, Aeroshatter is a South African company, right?
I don't know.
This Sky Aero. Hold on.
It's Aeroshatter.
But they are basically, I think it's Aeroshatter. Hold on.
They are into surveillance.
I know, SKT Aeroshatter.
Aeroshatter. It's a Ghanaian company.
Yeah, so they use drone technology for imaging purposes to inform agricultural production on a very large scale, rentals, data interpretation, cloud data analysis. So it's that, and it's happening right here in Africa. I think even in Cote d'Ivoire they are there, and parts of Ghana they are there. So this technology has come of age. So when you make a necessity argument of it, might be a bit misleading. And I think you agree that you might not be very well informed on the topic. But it just goes to show that there are so many attempts to bolster output with respect to agriculture, and this looks like one of the ways. It's not like, it may look like misappropriation of funds, but it's not, because drone tech helps tweak certain aspects of production that could spell good news for general harvest or general output. So yes, it's quite necessary.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. But the reason why I was raising those questions is because I mean, when it comes to these things, usually like it's done for the hype. So it's more or less like hype driven.
What makes you so sure that it's done for the hype?
Because there have been scenarios where like things introduced like this have been led to like rods and haven't been used. An example is on if you check the blog, that's in their website. There's this tech house that was launched in Ghana some time back. Well, like it was in the news, and then the government was being
That's a media website. Okay.
Yeah, I've forgotten.
Very neat website.
Is it the mobile hospital?
Yes, the mobile hospital. Yes, it's a mobile hospital. You see,
Like
like there was a lot of hype.
It was by Samsung, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of hype about it by the government as to like, yeah, like adapting technology to improve the livelihood of the people and all that. But it was just hype. And then some years back, like actually no one is actually using it and it's been abandoned. So that's why when things like this come up, I tend to like question the motive behind it. But that's not to say like drone technology is wrong though. We definitely need drone technology, but
Mm, mm.
to read for
Let me read
NSS.
from a section of the same article. The era, I think the statement is being made Ghana Buffer Stock Company or so. The era where farming was said to be that of poor and old is no more. Farming is now advanced and very lucrative. Personnel, that's NSPs, should position themselves in and venture into agriculture in order to be job. Hey, this article, what kind of a mistake is this? In order to be job creators and not job seekers. So the basic stuff. He admonishing people to embrace agriculture and is the new gold, blah blah blah. Yeah, he said ICT provides easy access to markets and information sources, and I have no doubt that if it is mainstreamed into agricultural practices, productivity within the sector would be increased to ensure that not only farmers' inputs increase, output increase, but also the nation's food security would be guaranteed. So it's the basic political jargon surrounding anything they do, all geared towards good, and yeah. But it's all about the maintenance culture. I feel that if
Okay, Obin has saying
he's opened the websites.
So Samsung
Digital Village. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, really?
Oh, I mean, it's your screen, sorry.
Samsung Digital Village in Ghana rots under locks. So it was launched in 2014 by UNESCO and the then government. That was Mohammed's government, and it was launched in 2015 and started in 2017. So now, 2 years later, award-winning health blogger Kobe Blay of the Ghana Health Nest visited the healthcare facility, and the pictures he posted on the social media site Facebook is nothing to write home about. So they showed a compound that looks abandoned with weeds growing and sheltering reptiles. The fence wall is not in good shape, and the facility was on lockdown. The structure has started to develop rust due to no maintenance. So the image showed expired. The images he captured also showed expired consumables, and some of the equipments were left to rot. Yes. So, and as recently during the lockdown, I received an email and a researcher who apparently happens to be a lecturer in a US school wanted to use the article as part of her research work. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm back there writing dope shit.
Bro, right at the S4. But then it's all good. I mean, it's time. With time, we'll get back to all those things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, I think time and time again we see classic cases of so many things being made available for usage, but because of bureaucratic hurdles and parochial interests and also political, a lot of things don't see the light of day, or when they do, they go under quite early, and we see that happening. And I think that's what Silas is re-echoing in the statement, that is it just for show, and what's the long-term plan for it? We can only hope at this point, given the country we are in, that this kind of technology really does what it's meant to do, and it can go the long haul. So yeah, it's basic hope. Yeah,
it just reminded me of this tweet I saw where someone said in Ghana, it's just vibes and inshallah.
Yeah,
Charlie. Vibes and
especially when Nana was like when like lockdown was cancelled, basically like people were free to read. Like people should still.
So that basically wraps up all the topic. Today's edition has been an all Ghana episode talking about news happening within the borders of this country. So yeah, basically we've exhausted all the topics, from NSS drones to DVLA saying they've done big stuff with technology, to Ghana card, to Huawei rural start. That's what's been in the news. That's what we've discussed on this edition of STN.